Hello and welcome to Music Theory Grade 2. This is a series of modules that will help you with your Grade 2 theory exam. We're going to start by looking at adding missing bar lines, and if you'd studied the Grade 1 syllabus we would have already looked at this question, but we would have dealt with the time signatures of 2/4, 3/4 and 4/4. In the Grade 2 syllabus we look at additional time signatures of 2/2, 3/2, 4/2 and 3/8. Let's just have a look at the meanings of these. You can see that 2/2 is the equivalent of 2 minim beats in a bar, 3/2, straightforward 3 minim beats in a bar, and 4/2, 4 minim beats per bar. We also mentioned 3/8, and 3/8 is the equivalent of 3 quaver beats per bar. So let's have a look at a typical Grade 2 question. Add the missing bar lines to this melody. So the important thing here is we need to look at the time signature and realise the main beat of that time signature. And as we mentioned, 2/2 is the equivalent of 2 minim beats in a bar. So what I'm going to do is to complete this question by adding in the bar lines, and then we'll analyse to see why we've placed those bar lines in those positions. If you look at the first bar, we've got 4 quavers, and the value of those 4 quavers will give you 1 minim. Then we have a quaver, or I should say crotchet rest and a crotchet note, and those added together, the value of those will also give you a minim. So there's our first 2 minim beats, or the equivalent of 2 minim beats, and we place the bar line as shown. In the next bar we've got 2 quavers, which added together give you the value of a crotchet, plus another crotchet. There's our first minim, and we have the same again. So there's another 2 minims, and we place our bar line as shown. Let's look at the next bar. Again we have 4 quavers added together. That gives us our first minim, and a crotchet rest and crotchet, minim number 2. And in the last bar you can see that the notes there beamed, although they're dotted quavers and semiquavers, they actually add together to make a minim, and then our final minim. So that's just analysing why we've placed the bar lines there on that question that was in 2/2. Let's look at another one. This one is, although it's in bass clef, that's not really a problem because we're just looking at values and groupings of notes. Again, add the missing bar lines to this melody. So let's place the bar lines in the correct positions and analyse how we've come to that position. If we look at the first bar, we've got a crotchet and a quaver. Now the crotchet is worth a value of 2 quavers plus the additional quaver. There's our 3 quavers for the first bar. We have a similar rhythm in the second bar, and in the third bar you can see we have straightforward 3 quavers, and then we place our bar line. We've got a crotchet and a quaver rest, so we still have to include the quaver rest as a value. So the crotchet is 2 quavers plus the quaver rest, that gives us our 3 quavers, and we place the bar line as shown. In the next bar we've got the equivalent of 3 quavers, and the other bars, as you can see, are all the equivalent of 3 quavers. The last bar is a dotted crotchet, which again is the value of 3 quavers. Another new time signature for Grade 2 is 4/2 time. Remember that 4/2 is the equivalent of 4 minims in a bar. And again I'm going to place the bar line as shown. And in this question we only need 1 bar line. And let's see why. The first 2 crotchets are equal to our first minim. And then we have another minim, the minim itself, and another 2 crotchets. So there's the equivalent of our 4 minim beats in a bar. The 4 quavers beamed together give us our first minim in bar 2. 2 crotchets give us our second minim, and another minim, and as you can see there's our 4th minim. So in that question we only actually needed 1 bar line. And the final one we're going to look at, add the missing bar lines to this melody again. This is in 3/2, the equivalent of 3 minim beats in a bar. So let's place our bar lines in the correct positions and analyse the melody again. As you can see, first 4 quavers give us our first minim, then we have a crotchet and 2 quavers for minim number 2, and there's our third minim, the dotted crotchet and the quaver rest. If we look at bar 2, 4 quavers give us our first minim, 2 crotchets our second minim, and a minim note itself, so there's our third minim, and that's where we've placed the bar line there, and the last bar is equal to 3 minims. We've got our group of notes there, which is our first minim, the crotchet, the quaver, rest and quaver is our second minim, and the minim note. So just as a recap, the time signatures we looked at in grade 1 were 2, 4, 3, 4 and 4, 4, which you still may need those in the grade 2 because they could ask you any of these time signatures. The new time signatures we looked at were 2, 2, 3, 2, 4, 2 and 3, 8, and just as a reminder, 2, 2 is 2 minims in a bar, 3, 2, 3 minims in a bar, 4, 2, 4 minims in a bar, and 3, 8 was 3 quavers in a bar. That brings me to the end of this module, and I look forward to seeing you in the next session.